Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. Welcome to those who here in the pews and all those who join us electronically from near or far. Whether neurotypical or neurodivergent, I am so glad you are with us today. We are blessed to be here together in the space of worship. We acknowledge that the land upon which our church stands rests on the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee people, the original nations of this land, who continue to call for justice and self-determination. We are grateful to live and worship upon this land. My name is Steve Wixon. I am a member of the Universal Access and Inclusion team. We are pleased to be leading worship this morning. Our team consists of Ginny Vaughn, Lynn Mancuso, Sue Mandolci, Sophia Roberts, and David Herring. David, a newish member of the congregation, who considers himself neurodivergent, will provide the sermon this morning. A great thanks to a lot of people, Jesse Downs and the music team. The tech team broadcasts us to YouTube each and every week, and we take care of the story. And then there are the countless volunteers and staff members who make each Sunday a memorable experience. Thank you to all, mentioned and unmentioned. You are truly Sunday joy makers. A couple announcements. After service, be aware that the Neurodiversity Network of Western New York will have a table in the parish hall to provide further information to anyone who is interested. Anyone who would like to talk further about our service, we would welcome your thoughts. Now, let's take the opportunity to connect right now. Let's greet our neighbors. Find a person you may not have met before, or smile at someone across the sanctuary. Greet your neighbors can take many forms. This is your time. Let's unveil the bonds that bind each to all.
How long do we give them?
2 minutes, I think.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to do this, then go down, you're going to do this. Right. Then while they're doing the hymn, and then I'll be back up to do the offering. Okay. You guys, is this better with or without the light? Is it better with the light or without? Do you know who Sophia's talking to? Do you know who Sophia's talking to? Let's see where she is. Oh no, I need a book too. I need a hymnal too. Do you want a hymnal? Are we singing out of the blue one? Both of them. Are we singing out of both books? Yeah.
You're getting a lot of,
Okay.
okay. And then whenever you're ready, there's a bell here to ring the.
Sue has the bell if she wanted it up.
Oh, I realized. I'm gonna. Should I just take the microphone or the story from the?
I think about it. We
Everybody ready? Yeah. Okay. Well, that was fantastic. That was so great to see. Hello, I'm Sue Mandolsi. Let us call ourselves to worship with these words of Reverend Laurie Thomas. We light this candle, mindful of people who hear, see, move through the world differently. Today may we catch a glimpse and see more clearly. Today, may we rekindle the light of justice and compassion.
Good morning. I'm Lynn. Please rise and embody your spirit as we recite the words for our chalice lighting. We gather in loving community, inspiring one another to transform ourselves to create a more just and compassionate world. Please remain standing as we sing hymn number 1012, When I Am Frightened, found in your teal hymnal.
Hi. I'd like to invite those young and young at heart or people of all ages to come up to hear the story for all ages if you'd like today. My name is Sophia, and you can see the story on the big screen behind me. And please, I think I'm going to sit up here today because it will be easier for me. All right. Oh, good. Hi. Hi. So this story is called A Day with No Words, And I'll try to show you guys here, but also you can see it up on the screen. Hi. Early morning chases a long night. Mama pulls the curtains back to welcome the sunlight. My eyes squeeze shut. I'm not ready to get up, but I open my eyes. I reach for my tablet, look at the screen, tap yes on the app. My thoughts are now seen. I am surrounded by voices chattering away. It seems as if everyone has so much to say. Some people have big voices that feel like storms in my head. They thrash and they scream. Others have voices that are soft and smooth, like freshly whipped cream. Like water, Mama's voice dances around, bobbing up and down as it leaves her throat, much like the waves that carry a boat. Daddy's voice is like air, soft as a light summer breeze that kisses my cheek, strong as the winds of hurricanes that abandon ships at sea. All these people around me, diverse and unique, I hear them all, but they do not hear me. I do not speak. I was born like this, no voice from my lips. I am autistic. I use a tablet to be heard, pushing buttons with pictures that speak my words. Mama taps, park now, no crowd. I love the park and quickly tap yes. With no crowd, I'll feel less stress. Mama knew this. She always knows when I feel comfortable and when my anxiety grows. I do things many people do not understand. I like to stare through the parted fingers of my right hand. I comfort the trees with hugs when the sun disappears. I like to spin barefoot on soft grass after the rain clears. There are some kids at the park with their mamas nearby. The clouds are still gray because the sky has just cried. They all turn to look at me as I jump and flap. One mother sneers, "That boy is handicapped." Mama inhales deeply, her brows increase. She closes her eyes. Deep breath, release. Mama types quickly, her fingers a blur. The tablet she holds says her words. My son does not speak, but his ears work just fine. The words that you say go straight to his mind. Then Mama turns to me with a smile and taps on her screen. Wet grass, soft spin, shoes, socks off, bare skin. And I twirl in damp grass until I can no longer stand. I tap all done. Mama smiles and takes my hand. Mama turns on her tablet, looks at the cashier, smiles, and then types, small fries, root beer. It takes him a moment, but then he pushes buttons too. Mama looks down at me. Your turn. You choose. I tap my tablet quickly. I don't need time to decide. Chicken nuggets, orange soda, a large side of fries. And that's the end of the story. What did you guys think? Good? What part stood out to you? What was your favorite part? Have you, yeah. It rhymed, right? A great sound, right? Have you ever met someone who talks with a touch talker? Or who, yeah. It's kind of cool, huh? Yes, and his talker has pictures on it. Sometimes if you don't talk, people think you don't understand words, but that's not true. You can not be able to talk, but still understand words and still think words too. So thank you guys. Any other comments you want to make? Any of us want to make? Well, thank you for listening to the story, and I think we're gonna sing kids off to their classes now. So have a great class.
Each week, we take a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and give it away to a social justice cause outside of our church walls. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is Compeer of Greater Buffalo. Compeer of Greater Buffalo believes in the transformative power of human connection for improving mental health. For over 40 years, the organization has supported individuals with mental health challenges through friendships and mentorships, helping them build resilience and find a sense of belonging. Community members can make a difference by volunteering and/or donating. Whether offering time and/or financial support, every contribution helps expand Compeer's programs and provide essential resources. Learn more at compeerbuffalo.org. You can donate in several ways. Mail a check to the church, drop cash or check into the collection plate if you're here, or go online to the church website, buffalouu.org, and donate through PayPal, or even better, set up a recurring donation through your bank or through the church. The end result is the same. We give to these causes to support the values of our faith. Give as generously as you can so that we can live into our values. Thank you.
What I was made for.
Now let us move into a space of contemplation, reflection, and prayer. May we acknowledge the many joys and sorrows that exist for those in this sanctuary and outside our walls. We especially want to hold Doug Sherman in love and caring as he faces health challenges. I invite you to say a prayer for those that you're thinking of. Now may we center ourselves with these words of Monica Cummings and Julia Watts-Belzer. Dear unknown, unknowable, yet known by many names, keep us mindful that we are all related, that when one of us is ignored and treated with dis-ease, we all suffer. Today, let each of us commit to welcome each other in all our ways of being, thinking, seeing, hearing, speaking, and moving. Blessed are those whose body minds fall farthest from ideal types. Blessed are those who are neurodivergent, whose very quirkiness the ableist world would outlaw. All of us deserve a world that welcomes us, that prizes us, that praises our particularities. Let us move beyond our comfort zones and connect with those parts of ourselves and others labeled different or wrong. Let us see the beauty and the gifts in our human diversity. In the spirit of love, compassion, and community, let it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
Have you ever wondered what I have about God when I say red? For example, there's no way of knowing if red means the same thing in your head as red means in my head when someone says red. And how if we're traveling at almost the speed of light, and we're holding a light, and that light would still travel away from us at the full speed of light, which seems riding away. But I'm trying to say, I'm not sure, but I wonder if inside my head I'm not just a bit different from some of my friends. These answers that come into my mind unbidden, these stories delivered to me fully written. And when everyone shouts like they seem to like shouting, the noise in my head is incredibly loud. I just wish they would stop, my dad and my mom, and the telly and stories would stop for just once. And I'm sorry, I'm not quite explaining it right, but this noise becomes anger, and the anger is light, and it's burning inside me would usually fade, but it isn't today. And the heat and the shouting, and my heart is pounding, and my eyes are burning, and suddenly everything is quiet. Like silence, but not really silent. just that still sort of quiet, like the sound of a page being turned in a book, or a pause in a walk in the woods. Quiet, like silence, but not really silent. Just that nice kind of quiet, like the sound when you lie upside down in your bed. Just the sound of your heart in your head. And though the people around me, their mouths are still moving, the words they are forming cannot reach me anymore. And it is quiet, and I am warm, like I've sailed into the eye of the storm.
Hi, Lynn again. This is a reading specific to autism, which is under the umbrella of neurodiversity. It's taken from the articles The Power of Autistic Pride and Autism and Critical Thinking, Unveiling Unique Cognitive Strengths by the editorial team at neurolaunch.com. Being proud to be autistic is a powerful stance that many in the autism community have embraced. This pride stems from recognizing the unique strengths and abilities that are associated with autism, including attention to detail, pattern recognition, and logical reasoning. Appreciating the different perspective autism provides on the world. People with autism have a tendency to question assumptions and resist social conformity that can lead to more independent and original thinking. Valuing the contributions autistic people make to our society, like Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of the popular game phrase Pokemon, Michael Fuller, a gifted classical composer, Stephen Wilshire, an artist that draws cities from memory, animal scientist Temple Grandin, and singers Sia and Susan Boyle. Also, challenging negative stereotypes and misconceptions about autism, and embracing neurodiversity as a natural and valuable form of human variation. Receiving an autism diagnosis can be a transformative experience, opening doors to self-understanding, community, and support. While the journey may not always be easy, many autistic individuals and their allies find that embracing neurodiversity leads to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Autistic pride doesn't mean ignoring challenges or difficulties, but rather celebrating the whole of the autistic experience and advocating for a world that values neurodiversity.
Good morning. I'm David Herring, fairly new member to this congregation. Thanks so much for joining us today. Autists, or autistic persons, are the ultimate square pegs, and the problem with pounding a square peg into a round hole is not that the hammering is hard work, it's that you're destroying the peg. Paul Collins, Not Even Wrong, Adventures in Autism. Collins's quote applies not squarely to autistic people, but also to other neurodivergents. See what I did there? Oh dear. I'm already getting off track. What would I tell my son, Max, to do? Pause. Find your anchor to slow down that race car brain with bicycle brakes. My first ADHD digression, which my dear UAIM colleagues can attest to, I'll do my best to keep those to a minimum. Barclay's last rule of taking charge with adult ADHD. Have a sense of humor, accept your imperfections, and get on with your life. If you told me 10 years ago as a newly minted PhD starting my dream job as a postdoc in psychophysiology, that a decade from now I'd be given a sermon on neurodiversity, the focus of my nonprofit work, I would have said two things. What the hell is neurodiversity? And shouldn't I be writing journal articles or grant applications to get tenure instead of sermons? The short answer I'd give myself would be, well, life. I was diagnosed late as a multiply neurodivergent person. I'm an ADHD OCDer. If you're wondering how someone can be both scattered and meticulous at times, I'm right there with you. I would also tell my younger self, but I should point out though, I am in good company. Fist bump to Howie Mandel, who wouldn't have it any other way because of OCD contamination, and Justin Timberlake, fellow ADHD OCDers. I would also tell my younger self it was the unique combination of late diagnosis of co-occurring neurodivergence in realizing that the clinical depression and anxiety I also live with might be byproducts rather than at the root of my struggles. By and large, the most transformative piece was to stop masking and denying the characteristics of being neurodivergent that were so evident, and to begin the process of radical self-compassion. It was exhausting hating myself and constantly asking, what's wrong with me? Why am I so broken? Why can't I just be normal? If you're anything like me, you've become numb to expressions like paradigm shift because you think they get overused and lose meaning. I sometimes read of the neurodiversity approach being described as a paradigm shift. If you think you can do away with ableism and neuronormativity, we'll get to the latter in a moment, then it's tempting to use the words paradigm shift. However, I do not think of striving to be more neuroaffirming in the true paradigm shift way of thinking. After all, we're not completely changing how people think of how the sun and planets move about one another out in the cosmos. We, those of us interested in the neurodiversity shift, ain't Copernicus. Hence, I think a neurodiversity shift doesn't mean reinventing the wheel of accessibility and inclusivity as we know it. Lorde, the queer feminist, spoke about social change brilliantly. For the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. They may allow us temporarily to beat him at his own game, but they will never enable us to bring about genuine change. For me, the essential requisite toward being more neuroaffirming is putting forth good faith efforts to create solutions for people who are neurologically different. It's about offering a space with the foundational components from which personal growth and authenticity blossom: acceptance and belonging. To that end, I'm going to share anecdotes about my triumphs and tribulations as a neurodivergent person. And with those anecdotes, my vision and hope for my son, Max, and neurodivergent folks like us. As you'll learn, Max is curious like his papa. I hope you find his interests as cute and amusing as we do. What follows are examples of a few of our shared values reframed with neuroaffirming language. We use appreciate the intricate web of life, or interdependence. As the late Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh would often simply say, we inter-are. Scientists like the late E.O. Wilson taught us about biological diversity and all the benefits ecological systems reap from it. Neurodiversity is a special case of biological diversity applied to our species. Simply put, neurodiversity is a natural diversity of human brains. No two brains are exactly alike, not even among identical twins born with the same genetic makeup. Therefore, there is infinite variation in the human nervous system. It's the whole relatively new concept of normality that gets in the way. Or in other words, allowing typically developed nervous systems that fall in the 66.6% of the middle of the bell curve to be the privileged ones. That's the neuronormative perspective of prioritizing those with healthy nervous systems who display normal ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving. But as a wise advocate once said, what is normal anyway? Mama Gump. Mama was a real smart lady. I encourage y'all to perform a thought experiment. Explain what a normal person is to someone. Imagine you're explaining normality to Data. The fictional android does not sound correct. The android we all love, we all know and love from Star Trek: The Next Generation, what it means to be a normal person. Join us at the back table in Parish Hall afterward. I'd love to hear what you came up with. Oh, and if you haven't seen TNG, The Next Generation, you may file that under the important and urgent quadrant in Eisenhower's priority matrix. More on that at the table afterward for those with emerging prioritization skills such as myself. When we fully embrace our species as being neurodiverse, We move away from systems of othering and compliance models to keep the neurological misfits in check. Let me be clear. This isn't a call for anything goes. It's a call to embrace neurodivergent persons and respect their need for autonomy. Be skillful, punky. By handling neurodivergence the reins, they find their way at their own pace and hit their stride in life, creating a sense of empowerment. You have to cut her a little slack. This is, after all, our first time here, so. Decorum, my darling, decorum. We embrace all forms of diversity, whether group characteristics, cultural, or theological. Everyone is a sacred being. We are proudly pluralistic. As such, we reject supremacy-based ideologies rooted in hatred and practices meant to oppress and marginalize others. You won't catch any of us touting that there is a superior race. You won't find any of us touting any group member characteristic as superior. Oh, hell no. So do we believe that someone who is neurotypical, that is a typically developed nervous system, and who functions in ways society values, is superior to someone neurodivergent? Can neurodivergent status be part of our pluralistic value? Would that be so radical? Unsurprisingly, I maintain, yes, we can. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm rather fond of President Obama and like to do impressions of him. Yes, we can include neurodivergent status. I think my very presence in giving this sermon suggests an openness to consider neurodiversity, status, in the way that I've proposed. And I'm so very grateful to have the opportunity. If we accept the major tenet of neurodiversity and encourage openness about just how neurodiverse we are as a congregation, then we should reject one neurological status reigning supreme over another. When we're neuroaffirming, we validate all neurological differences just like we would with other group memberships. The word neurodiversity did not exist when I was a child. There's still a lot of stigma surrounding ADHD, but even more so then. I don't recall having many of my differences validated. I didn't like eye contact. To make me compliant, my face was violently grabbed, my gaze was forced, and I was shouted at. I was a goofball in class, perhaps to cope with the struggles of focusing, learning, and reading. To make me compliant, I was told my peers were laughing at me, not with me. I had a lot of energy and talked a lot. To make me compliant, I was told I talked too much and to be quiet. Max doesn't like eye contact either. To validate his preference, he signs or communicates another way, instead to let us know he's listening or understands something. Max is a goofball too. To validate him, we love him unconditionally as the goofball he is. Max has a lot of energy and talks a good bit too, earning the nickname from his adoring papa, my little adenosine triphosphate. If you're dying to know what that big word is, it just means the fuel of our cells. To validate his desire to be a conversationalist, I love deeply listening to Max incessantly talk about Taylor Swift and whoever his favorite composer of the month is. It's Bizet this month, in case you were wondering. As noted, our unwavering conviction is recognizing everyone as a sacred being, striving for the most inclusive and diverse possible congregation where all, not just the majority, can thrive. In a word, justice. Neurodiversity advocates and activists have been trying to stand on the shoulders of giants to make progress for neurologically different people. Much of the thinking about neurodiversity has been inspired by the groundbreaking work of disability rights activists like Judy Heumann, and more recently, disability justice pioneers such as Mia Mingus. Not to mention, spokespersons like the autistic professor and author Temple Grandin. I argue, as many before me have, that neurological deviation by way of individual milestones, goals, and needs is a form of diversity, because we have all been socialized to see neurological deviation as setbacks, deficits, and weaknesses. The neurodiversity approach seems difficult to reconcile with. It may even seem airy-fairy at first blush to some. But is it? What happens when we challenge the ought-tos and the shoulds? What happens when we reframe our expectations while still presuming people with neurological differences are competent? I know what it's like to be presumed incompetent or incapable. Shortly after starting college, my older brother told me, spirit of life, rest his soul, that I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor, a professor I was considering. That reminded me of all the times growing up when my standardized scores were poor, particularly with reading. I recalled one of my parents berating me at the kitchen table each time my new standardized scores came in. It was really hard to believe in myself. I knew learning and reading didn't come as easily for me. I didn't even finish a chapter book front to back until I was several years into college. So it was tempting for me to doubt myself. My brother made unskillful remarks about my ability. But then, this cool hippie professor saw something in me when I was explaining my research at my first conference. After the conference, Professor Burleson said, "You're really good at this. You should be a professor." So I became a professor one day. It turns out I was smart enough to be a doctor after all. I recently started reciting one of my favorite quotes from the movie The Imitation Game, a biopic about Alan Turing, to Max after reading his bedtime story. Sometimes it is the people no one can imagine anything of who do the things no one can imagine. This is a way to encourage Max to have faith in himself, as I strongly suspect he is a butterfly just like his papa. Butterfly is how we refer to ADHD in our house. I loathe the acronym ADHD, the worst misnomer ever in my view, but that is a chat for another time. There's no denying that we are inherently a social species. We've known for a long time that loneliness is hazardous to our health. We're only just learning how greater depression can be for neurodivergent youngsters resulting from feelings of loneliness. It seems only fitting to end with love, the glue of our shared values. When our hearts are filled with love, thinking about new ways to ensure all members feel socially connected is the only way forward, because the consequences, social isolation and rejection, are too devastating and tragic. Namaste and blessings to all. Now rise and sing hymn number 118 in your gray hymnal, This Little Light of Mine.
Please rise and body your spirit as we read the extinguishing words for our chalice. As we extinguish the flame of the chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
Our benediction this morning comes from the words of Margaret Mead. If we are to achieve a richer culture, rich in contrasting values, we must recognize the whole gamut of human potentiality. And so, weave a less arbitrary social fabric, one in which each diverse human gift will find a fitting place. Go in peace, be in peace. Amen.
Sometimes my tries are outside the lines, yeah. make mistakes, but I can't live that way, no. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, are reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up a dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.
I was laughing because you started clapping, but you were hitting your stomach. Yeah, well, then it would have looked that way. I don't know. Got enough flap. Oh my God, there was. It came right to me.